Welcome, Transformers fans. My name is Composite EnerJoe, and today I will be reviewing the Transformers 2007 movie, Deluxe Class, Swindle. And here he is, in his alt mode. Now, one thing to point out with this character, this guy was not in the game. In fact, I should title this a little bit differently. This is not exactly the Transformers, the movie, Swindle. This is actually the Transformers 2007 movie, the game, Deluxe Class Swindle. Yeah, this guy was not in the movie, and this car mode was probably not in the movie either. However, this was one of the many drones that you fought against in the movie tie-in video game, which is kind of interesting. They took a character, and they did it for two other characters in the game too. There was Payload, which was the armored truck, or I guess the heavier sized vehicles. The flying enemies in the game were called Dreadwing, which was also released as a toy. And then you had this guy, which was the run-of-the-mill just drones, the Steves, if you want to call it the Steves, the Stormtroopers, whatever. The generic soldiers of that game is this, Swindle. And it's a pretty cool car mode. Nice detailing. There's the front, tiny Decepticon symbol. Tires, which kind of remind me of off-road tires for some reason. Could just be me. Decepticon symbol there. Back part. This is a bit loose, but there is a reason for it, because this thing actually has an action feature. Has a little feature in the car mode. Top and bottom, and yeah, and you can tell that is his head. That aside, this is Swindle, and it's a pretty solid car mode. Now, this doesn't officially have a car mode associated with it. This wasn't really based on anything to my knowledge, or from the research that I did, I couldn't find anything this was based on. However, this does look very similar, and I think it's supposed to be just a generic car, but this looks very similar to either a Honda Accord, like I'm getting a Honda Accord vibe, and an even stronger vibe to a Dodge Dart. This looks remarkably similar to a Dodge Dart. However, that's just my speculation. There are no, from what I could gather, there's no official car that this is based on. This is just supposed to be a generic car. So, let's get on to transformation. Actually, before that, you see this button up here? If you push it, this thing pops it back, which you can then finish it off by doing that. And on mine, just a little bit of doodles there. That's something I did. Don't worry about that. Some doodles. And there's this spring action, sort of like, what was this? What was in the Fast and Furious movie? Oh yeah, the NOS, when they hit the nitrous. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And this guy does roll really well. Whoosh. That's what this is. This is supposed to emulate just like a rocket booster. It goes pew when you just go fly. He goes really fast. Push that in, fold that back down, and that explains why this doesn't really go in there that well on mine. I've done this a bit too many times. Okay, now let's get on to transformation, which is very simple. This is a very simple transformation for a drone. You pop this off, you move it over the side, just pull it out, arm down. Same thing on this side, arm out. Go down here. You separate what will be the legs, and let's do a cool head reveal. It's like on a spring. When you move this, boom. All you gotta do is move this back, because what's holding this down is this actual part of the car. That when you pull this down, it activates, and that's like the automorph that this thing can do. It just flips over. So then this thing, fold down, you fold this in and put it inside. It's a chest area. Becomes its chest area. And be very careful with where is it? There we go. The button. You have to make sure that this goes all the way back so that this button doesn't get interfered, so you can have this in there. And then you just go down here and then hit the button. Well, I'll show that when I'm done transforming them. And darn it. It's the only part that's kind of fitting. There we go. Make sure it's there. Then you get to his legs. Then you fold down all the way. Oh yeah, before that, that's right. His waist can turn. Just ignore that. That's it. Turn his waist forward. There you go. It's done. This side. Flip that. Flip it down. Come back here. Pull out the heel. Pull out the heel. And then fold these in. Fold these in. Down. When you're back here, fold this down to cover this up. And that's it. Pretty simple. Gotta say, that is a simple transformation. That's actually one very positive this guy has. The fact that it's just a generic Steve, I don't think he really earned a very complicated transformation. Having him be very simple is, I think, a good positive for just a drone character. And here he is. The door wings here, you can do whatever you want. They are on ball joints, so you can either... I have him up because I have an idea that this guy is supposed to be like really crazy. Not very smart, but really crazy and just like rah, rah, he just attacks people. And with the button down here now, push it up. This now is actually a cannon, so it's a chest beam or chest cannon. And if you've seen my other reviews, you know how much I like chest cannons. So put that back in, and that's it. His head is very monocular, very shockwavy, because I guess apparently drones only have one eye. I don't know why they made that choice, but yeah, that's this was one version of the drones, of the Decepticon drones in the video game. Yeah, this is a video game based character, more so than anything. But he was in the movie toy line. But I remember on the sticker on the packaging, it said that, you know, it was from the game. It was a character from the game, and they did that with 2 other characters. And I guess I mentioned this guy was repainted once into an Autobot named Camshaft, and it was a straight repaint. And here he is, simple little drone figure. And I gotta say, I like him. He's cool. He's simple. Articulation. His arms are perpetually stuck in this angle because that's just it's molded like that. That is a bit of a negative. That could be a negative for a lot of people. His head does move a bit. These are on ball joints, so ball joints do what ball joints do. The hands are also on ball joints, so you can do this or turn them or, you know, do whatever you want with that. The band can go the elbow can go all the way there, all the way down. The legs, I wish were a little better. The legs are like the weak point here. They bend that far a little bit forward. They can at least go fairly far back. And we now have probably the weakest kick on the show. Very unimpressive. Not very effective of a kicker. So, that's pretty much him. Not much else to talk about. I like him. He's simple. He's cool. He's a bit straightforward. He does his job right as being a drone character. I think it's one thing I have to say about him. Also, once again, love me some chest cannons. One thing I just have to mention is, why did they name him Swindle? I'm like unlike what is it, Payload and Dreadwing, which I don't recall being very well-known characters in the first generation, in the G1 and prior generations of Transformers prior generations. I'm mixing my words here. Okay. Okay, let me start over. I do recall that Payload and Dreadwing were not that well-known. Were not very well-known characters in generations prior to this one. However, Swindle was one of the Combaticons that formed Bruticus. So why did they name the generic drone Swindle? Out of all the names they could have used, why Swindle? Just a thought there. Like, that always bugged me, because, like, why is this guy called Swindle? There's nothing really swindly about him, especially he's supposed to be a generic henchman. You know, or like an expendable asset. Well, that's it. There's nothing else. What you see, here he is. If you like him, I like him. Like, for what he is, he's pretty basic. He's basic. He's a ton of fun. He's okay. He's okay by my book. Pretty good. So that is my review of the Transformers. I'm still trying to figure out how I should call this. It's just gonna simplify it. It's the Transformers 2007 movie, Deluxe Class Swindle, because that is what the toy line, that is what I'm calling the toy line. I'm not gonna add on the game to him. And that's it. That's Swindle. This is Composite EnerJoe signing off. Peace out.